Oh, good morning. How are you guys today? Just doing a little garage sweep in here. But since I've got you, let's talk about something that I think is pretty important. And that is, there is no need to lift the Jeep Gladiator to make it awesome. You know, I must admit, when I first got the Jeep Gladiator, my first intention was to lift it. I talked about it on the channel a few times. I thought, you know, I've seen some lifted Gladiators out there and they look awesome. But I had one problem in doing that, and that was ride quality. You know, I have a 2020 Tacoma back there, and it's lifted, has the bigger wheels, bigger tires, the more aggressive tires, all that good stuff. And it suffered a bit. It suffered in the form of ride quality. And that's something that I didn't want to happen with my Jeep Gladiator, because honestly, right out of the box, it has awesome ride quality. You know, it always amazes me every time I drive that truck, how smooth it is, how non-truck-like the ride really is, even with the setup that I have right now, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's not the same on my Tacoma back here. It is a much rougher ride. You know, when I go over bumps and things, particularly railroad tracks, you feel it. It hits. When I say hits, I don't mean it bottoms out. I mean, it just boom when you go over those things. So I didn't want that with the Jeep Gladiator, so I decided to go a different route, or at least try something differently in the meantime, which I'm glad I did, because I am very happy with it. Of course, it doesn't have stock wheels and tires on it, and that is the change that I made. The tires are a little bit taller than what stock was, so I ended up with about probably a ½ inch lift anyway, which is okay. I don't mind that. Now, what I'm running, this is a fuel wheel, you guys can see there, and then a Wild Peak, or a Falcon Wild Peak AT3W tire, and it's a 285/70 R17. You guys can see right here. Nice aggressive looking tire without being so aggressive that it destroys the ride quality, like these. These are horrible. Great tire if you're going off-road, but these are a 295/55 R20, and they are aggressive. You can see the tread depth here, the width. I mean, they are just a massive, bulky, heavy tire. And this Jeep has paid for that. Of course, it's what my wife wanted. It is her Jeep, it's not mine. We are going to be making a change to that soon. I've actually got something in the works to kind of change that up a little bit. That truck, or Jeep I should say, does have a lift on it. It's a 3.2 ready lift. So, by just putting different wheels and tires on my Gladiator, I have achieved the look, the stance that I was going for. And I think it's awesome. If you take a look at this truck, I mean, the Jeep is unique anyway, right? The Gladiator. But I think it came out really, really well, and I love the way it looks right now. Add a little stubby bumper to the front, and that's really all that you need. No reason to pump this thing up in the air. Now, I will say, I do love the look of a lifted Jeep Gladiator. I've seen a few of them around town here, and they do look awesome, but I would love the chance to talk to one of those folks and find out what they really think. And I want their honest opinion. You know, I think a lot of times, and it's probably just human nature, when we go out and spend a bunch of money, because these Gladiators that I've seen lifted with the giant wheels and tires on them, they've probably got anywhere from 8 to 10 grand in that setup, right? And it's difficult to admit or realize, I guess, that maybe it's not exactly what you wanted or what it could be, because you've spent so much money on it. Now, that's not to say down the road that I might not cave into that look myself, because I do really, really like the looks of a lifted truck. But again, the Gladiator is so unique in itself that I don't think that it's really necessary. The other thing that I want to point out on this, again, going for the look, is the wheel poke that I get. You know, I wanted something that wasn't too extreme. Nothing worse for me than seeing a truck going down the road with 3/4 of the tire hanging outside of the fender well. I just don't think that looks good. It's not my thing, and I didn't want that kind of a look for my Jeep. So I went with this offset. I believe it's a -12, I believe, with these particular wheels. And I think it looks really good. Now, going back to my wife's Jeep Wrangler, you can see up here, she's got quite a bit more wheel poke than I do. Probably about 1/4 or so of the tire sticking out. Hard to get good perspective on video, but she does have quite a bit of tire sticking out on that truck. I still think it looks good. It's not overdone. And it's going to be interesting because what I'm going to be doing, or she wants done with her Wrangler, is a change in wheels and tires. So we're going to be changing that up a bit, and she's actually going to get 1/2 inch more wheel poke than what she has right now. So hers is going to stick out 1/2 inch further than what you can see right there. Now, the tire itself is going to be a little narrower, so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. For comparison, we'll take a look at the Tacoma here next to it. You can see I do have a little bit of wheel poke here, but it really is slight compared to what she has. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit. I don't think it's really necessary to go with a big monstrous lift to have a good look on the Jeep Gladiator. I think the way that it's set up, the way that it comes from the factory with its current suspension, with just tires added, a little bit taller tires, gives you that cool look that the Gladiator deserves. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'd be curious. Do you have a lift? How high did you go? And what did you experience, I guess, with regard to ride quality? Did you lose anything? Were you disappointed? Was it even bad enough that maybe you took that lift off and are going to go back to something else? One other thing real quick that I want to mention before I call it a day is the death wobble. That's always a concern whenever you do anything with the suspension on the Jeep Gladiator or Jeep in general. I've heard of a couple of people having that problem with the Gladiator, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's when you're going at a higher speed, say freeway speed, and the tires, the wheels start doing this on the Jeep. It's horrid. I actually saw one, it was a Jeep Wrangler, going down the freeway at about 55 miles an hour, and all 4 tires were doing this as they were going down the road. I don't know how they were even able to control it. Strangely, they didn't pull over, they just kept going. It's the craziest thing I think I've ever seen. Almost like all of the lug nuts were loose. Very strange. Anyway, like I said, leave a comment, let me know if you've done a lift, how's it working out for you. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I do have 2 additional channels. The first is Rob Motive, all about my 2020 Toyota Tacoma. And my newest is Rob Motive Tundra, focusing on the redesigned Tundra that's coming at the end of this year, hopefully sooner. If you're interested, check them out. Why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.